was shining on me. Now I can't leave. And now
And we're back like we never left. We are here. We are here. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this Fear Street situation. Ciao. I wasn't ready. I was not ready. Before we jump into the mess, the genericness, the averageness that is Fear Street Prom Queen. How y'all doing? How are you guys doing? It is Saturday. It is a lovely Saturday, and it's not just me here. It's, Ashley over there with the sweet perspective, and King Nikki down there with the she just gonna give it to you straight. And I'm expecting a whole lot of it with this being an 80s slasher. So, before we get into it, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to show us some love. Be sure to run it up in the chat. Have you seen this movie? Are you just here to support? And if you have seen the other films in this franchise, I would love to know what you thought about this one in comparison to that one, because I wasn't, that inspired. But getting into the feels, because y'all know I'm not finna waste no time with none of this at all. Nikki, I'm going to come to you first. What were your overall thoughts of Fear Street Prom Queen?
I think this movie plays on a loop in hell. This is eternal damnation. Um, I think this was probably the worst use of 80s nostalgia I have ever seen in my entire life. They played some good 80s hits and they made sure to pan the camera to some posters on the wall and said, okay, it's the 80s. And I think this is literally the epitome of why I say the teen slasher subgenre is dead. It has been dead for about 20 years. Like it's flatlined. There's no reviving it. Remember when they had all the hip hop is dead t-shirts? It's dead. It's dead. These were the most generic, and I mean uber generic characters. They all bled together. There was really nothing distinguishing about them. The same old tired teen character tropes that you're gonna see. The bullying is so played out. I'm so over it. And then this, if they didn't just literally knock that girl down, like for her to be the big bad wolf of the wolf pack, I think that everybody was literally the epitome of mediocre white. Like it was boring as hell. I wanted to kill Tyra because I said, "Girl, what did you get me into?"
Why do I always have to catch a murderous wrath? I asked you to watch the film. I was basing it off what we already had. I was like, all right, let's see if Nikki want to pull through. I did not know what we were walking into. Ashley, overall thoughts.
Yeah, so y'all just want me to hate horror. I know what it is. The people want me to hate horror is what they want. No, but I literally had just binged the trilogy, right? I'm gonna call it a trilogy, the 3-part
Mhm.
series. Really enjoyed it. My favorite one was 1666. I thought they did a great job in terms of continuity, in terms of like the aesthetic, the vibes, the characters. I was cool with it. And so I really had high expectations coming into Prom Queen, thinking, okay, like I was like, okay, maybe we'll get like some Carrie-esque vibes. Maybe I know this is a separate standalone, but we're still in the same town. So maybe there'll be some crossover with the lore. Like I can get into that, right? Yeah, there was none of that there. I could have watched Mean Girls and had a good night all by myself and laughed and enjoyed it. This, it just lost me. I didn't know what their motivation was. I didn't get, or really, I couldn't feel the I guess the animus from who's supposed to be our main antagonist, who turned out to be the killer. I didn't
Mhm.
believe her. I didn't buy it. I didn't buy her mammy. It just was like, oh, y'all just are throwing this in there to like get a quick buck is what it felt
Yeah.
like. It felt like a money grab. It didn't feel authentic. It didn't feel genuine. Watched the other Prom Queen from 2008 last night and was like, okay, I see where this could have gone a little bit, and I'm just very disappointed because I think it was a pretty decent franchise.
Yeah, I was disappointed. And I hate it because y'all know where my heart lives as far as horror. I love the 80s down. And these are the films that really give the 80s a bad rap. Like these are the ones that see why we don't go over there? Like, oh, don't do this. Every single trope. I expect that. I expect that. this was an easy movie. This was a cheap movie. This was the 80s, and everything else that comes with it as far as horror. You get a generic everyday average slashers. We watch these bodies drop. You might get a little nudity. Like it's very, very easy. So the fact that it was so easily messed up, it just had me questioning a lot. And but we're gonna get into it. But I will say that I was disappointed. I was very, very disappointed. But Ashley, I'm gonna come to you as someone who is fresh off of them Fear Street trilogy streets, and you got to meet these people up close and personal. This is a standalone installment. You do not have to have any establishment with the rest of the films in this franchise to get this. There is, so they say, visually a tie-in to maybe like some symbolism and a couple of things from those first installments, but in all, none of this is connected. How did this one fall in with the other ones, and does it hold up at all with the rest?
Yeah, last. And no, it absolutely doesn't. Because here's the thing. I think we had so much material from the first three to do something that could have been really cool, especially with like the milkman, especially with the little crazy kid. All of the lore that went into the original trilogy was incredible. And there are so many different stories that we could have gone back to. We could have gone back to the 60s for the crazy chick who killed all her friends at the sleepover. We could have went all kinds of directions, I think, and it would have been really cool. This was awful. Like I said, if we had gotten some real deep tie-ins to the lore, I would have been here for that. If the evil sheriff brother would have like done something in the midst, I'd have been here for that. I'd have been here for any of that. And I know they took us back because what in the original we started in 1994. This was like the 1980s or whatever.
Yeah.
There was potential, but no, this was awful. They should have never made this. And I don't know the source material, but I can't see the writer veering off this far to make something so terrible. When we just got off of that, like I said, I enjoyed the trilogy. 1666 was my favorite because we got to go back in time and do all the things. But yeah, no, yeah, it didn't land for me. And not even just, I guess, in terms of horror, but just in terms of a story. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't moved. I didn't feel anything. Yeah, dead last.
I will say that was one of my main issues. Like, let's not slap Fear Street up there and not have any connective tissue. I was like, we met so many characters. It was so easy to make someone the, auntie, aunt, mom of whomever we've already met. Like, there were ways to establish a connection, and we just didn't do that as if we didn't care to. And I really hate that because this could steer someone who's never giving the rest of the Fear Street situations an opportunity and see this and go, yeah, I'm good on that. Please don't put these two together. This just could have been Prom Queen. This just could have been something else. And from what I'm seeing, Prom Queen is more so on bar with the books and R.L. Stein than the other films were. I was like, okay, well, y'all should have just stayed over there. Nobody said y'all had to go over there and try to double down on anything. The independence and whatever you guys were doing to make it your own, even if you were using the Fear Street name, we should have continued that on because this was should be a standalone and it should be nowhere near the rest of it because it's very subpar. Nikki, I'm gonna ask, did you care to go and watch any of the other Fear Street movies? And if not, based on this one film, would you ever go over there and watch them at all?
I was gonna say Tyra talking to me because F them other three. I am very much. I have never seen the original trilogy. I remember when they came out. I remember all the hype around them, but I typically steer away from anything with teens, whether it's high school teens or college teens. They always give you the same thing. It's always it's gonna be a bully, like exactly what you're going to see. So I typically steer clear. So I avoided them and I planned on binging all three, but hell no, I will not. I hated this movie. I thought it was terrible. I think now I will say as a 80s hater, I don't think this is the movie that makes you say, oh, this is why we don't like that. I actually didn't think they did very great tipping into the 80s nostalgia. When I think of 80s horror like The Prowler and even the original Prom Night or Prom Queen with Jamie Lee Curtis, I don't think it did very good at the 80s nostalgia. I just felt like they were cosplaying the 80s. It felt like a bunch of like kids born in 2000 who said let's throw an 80s themed party. Like I was like, wait a minute, because I'm an 80s hater, but I know the 80s very well. I've dipped into the 80s a lot. I just don't like that era. And I don't know, Tyra, you're the one that loves the 80s. Did you think
Yeah.
that 80s nostalgia was on point here?
Oh
'Cause
no, they were playing dress up. It was, I don't know. I feel like at this point, unfortunately, with horror, the '80s is low hanging fruit, and now that it's been used so much, they don't even give it any depth or really try to pull you into the. It was like void here. I'm like, we can't get any like old '80s like colloquialisms, like a little. It was like, look, we're gonna slap this here. We gonna give y'all some of them white wedding. You'll get some bops, okay? And we're gonna keep it going. Like it really doesn't matter. Do we really have to bring you into the world? Don't you? You do. You do those things, those little nuances that make even the most cheesiest of the '80s movies. That stuff matters, and none of that was present here. Thank you so much, Demarcus, for the super sticker. We most definitely appreciate you, and thank you so much for this one as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, but I like literally dug because I didn't have anything, but I didn't want to have nothing. What we liked, because we gotta have somewhere to start. I did appreciate that we do have gory kills for the most part. Are they the most, sophisticated? Oh my god, I've never seen that. And I really like the gory creative, like, what the hell, are we really gonna do this? Like, lead with that. I think the cheesiest and the more campy that they would have gotten with this, it would have made it really fun. But it was like it was almost taking itself really serious, and it didn't warrant any of that. And I like a good bloody situation. Like, don't pull up on me with no PG rated R situation or a rated R situation, and I don't know where your blood at. I don't know what it was for, because we really didn't do too much here that I felt like you needed that R rating. I like that it was bloody. The soundtrack, it's the '80s. Now, can you put like some B cuts, some of the don't they got the most generic of the generic '80s songs that you could ever possibly think of when you reference the '80s, but the '80s is gonna eat down every time. I do like a little homage to better horror, even though this is not one of those. I do feel like the mask killer that we're gonna get to was maybe like an Alice, Sweet Alice situation. I like a good mask, raincoat moment, even if it's generic and overused at this point. Her name was Lori. We all know who Laurie Strode is. We're always going to put a name in there. And even when they go to the movies, I was like, oh, the little Fatta movie, that movie is just, I don't know. I don't feel like it gets enough praise. The tall man is the GOAT. Okay. As far as '80s, I feel like he needs more shine. I like the scene where they were in the movies and they were just watching the film just to reference it at all. And the final act, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was because of that heifer, and I hated the final act, but it kind of I was waiting for some people to come from under the stairs for some reason. I knew they weren't, but just how she was chasing her with that knife, it was giving me the people under the stairs, and I appreciated it for that. And that was another moment where I felt like they were leaning into the campiness. It just was too up and down with the tonal shifts when it really wasn't even anything going on. But Ashley, if anything at all you can dig up.
Girl,
What
they
is
had a budget. They had a budget for music. They did. And I know you're saying it's very on the nose, very
Yeah.
eurythmics, very all of those things. But I'm fine with it. It was the one thing that I was like, oh, okay. I can hum a little ditty as I sit here and watch this foolishness, because that's all it gave for me. Again, even in the again, when I'm thinking '80s, and I'm a camp girl, take me over there. Let's be extra, let's be extreme, let's be on the nose, let's do all of the things. Let's ham it up, right? But even the fashions, girl, I was like, what you got these dry '80s fashions for? Like, this is the time you can cut all the way loose, cut all the way. I want to see taffeta on LeMay. I want to see shoulder pads out to here. I want to see big bar hair. I want all of that. I want tees to the gods. I didn't get none of that. I got none of that. And I know you said this was a good thing, so I'm just going to say right there, it was just the music that I liked.
It was. I felt like I was like, I don't think this knows whether it wants to be horror or we just want to be the most generic version of Mean Girls. Like, pick one and make a decision, because we can't clearly be both, and the film is suffering for it. But yeah, the fashions were tired. Everything just felt very, very stock. There wasn't a lot of effort put into the '80s genre. You're gonna get this music, you're gonna get a little sequence, and that's it. That's not enough. But this is what we liked. Nikki, did you like anything about this movie?
I always try to say let me say at least one good thing about something, even if I'm a trash. Let me find something good. There's typically something good. I think somebody had a nice pair of earrings, and that's really all I got. I really feel like there was nothing redeeming, and even getting into like what Ashley said about the campiness. As much as I hate the '80s, and I guess hate is a strong word, but I just love to mess with Tyra. But like one of my favorite movies is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. That is
Mhm.
'80s and campy as hell. I felt
And
like
who
I
told you to
wish
watch that?
Tyra never started my life till like last year. But I wish it's like I can't remember if it was you or Ashley who said it's like they took themselves too seriously. I feel like they should have had a lot more fun, even with the kills.
Yeah.
Some of the kills were even off screen, and I was just like, they're forget. I really can't remember how nobody died. Like it was just so forgettable. And I wish they would have really just. That's what I'm like. I wish they would have played up the whole '80s theme. I wish we could have been campy. I wish we could have had a lot of fun, even with them tired one-liners. I'm Lori effing Granger. We couldn't even get
Oh,
no good cheesy
I
one-liner.
went, ugh.
Like literally, I felt like, come on, like, oh my god. I
did
wish we had more
not.
fun, but
I
I mean, it
hated
really
that.
wasn't a much that I cared for. Oh god, like I really wish I honestly I was fast forwarding a little bit. I fast forward through that damn dance off because they could take that to hell.
That shit, like, what else is going
Insanity.
on here? I was
Insanity.
like, and I love a good, like, we're gonna get, because I was like, I see what you guys are going for, because the 80s were known, horror or whatever genre, at the prom, you were gonna have a dance off, but I was like, what? This is, y'all two-stepping. I don't know what is happening. Thank you so much, Demarcus, for the $2. Y'all got to review the Burning Bed, old school Lifetime Burning Bed with Farrah Fawcett. Absolutely, absolutely, because you want me to be mad. Because don't put your hands on that lady. That's all that's gonna happen. Now on to what we didn't like, and there's more than enough of that to go around. But this is easy. Like I said, this is easy. When I think Prom Queen, from the trailer, I immediately got prom night. I was like, oh, we got one. They about to prom night it up. And say what you want about prom night, I love prom night. I don't care. Prom night is a really glamorous looking movie to me. I love the way it looks. I love how over the top it is, the tones, how bloodshot red the blood is, the dance sequence and dance off with Jamie Lee Curtis in them. I love it. I love how campy and kind of over the top some of the moments are, and how bludgeoningly disgusting the men are in the movie. Like, oh my god, I love prom night. It's fun. And then of course when you think about prom, you're gonna think about Carrie. Like, give me the blood, give me the gore. It's just really, really easy. But you couldn't tell me watching that trailer that we weren't about to get a 2025 prom night, and it was anything but that. But every single cast member, and I mean every single one, was forgettable as hell. Every single person. Poor pacing. The movie starts and we're at prom. I was like, well, hold on. Give me a moment. That time before prom prep, it builds character. It lets you know who we are meant to care about. Have you put stock in people and boyfriends, form relationships, and we're getting, dresses, and we get, character development. And there was none of that. The movie was on for 5 minutes and we were literally at the prom. I was like, oh, and not even just the cast, the killer, the villain, the person that we're really here for, because you're going to be the one doing the slashing. We put lure, and we feed into that to go, oh, this is the motivation, this is why, and these are all the possibilities of who it could be. None of that happened. I blinked and we were at prom. I was like, oh, okay, we're here. The final girl arc, I don't know where this final girl was. I don't want to see her on nothing. Don't you put Lori on a damn thing. We gonna act like Lori was never here and this never happened. I have not cared like less about a final girl in a really long time. Like, Lori could have died as soon as that film started. I swear I wouldn't have gave a damn. I just didn't care. Her arc, her motivations, her the weakness of, oh, I'm bullied and I'm the girl in school and I have this history with my parents and this death and these shady, shaking surroundings, and I'm picked on it from it. But I can be prom queen just as best as anybody else, and I have this best friend. There was nothing given to her to do, and it was tragic. Every single step taken here was extremely predictable. There was never one moment where I was like, you know what? That could be the killer. That could be. I knew who the killer was as soon as I was like,
I knew it
it
was
can only be so many people. Y'all got this tall ass killer. Who else is it gonna be? It wasn't enough, ambiguity to go, ooh, I was like, clearly that's only one of two people. And it ain't none of these damn kids running around at prom. But the 80s isn't enough. You have to do more. You cannot just slap the 80s on something and say that it's horror. And if you're going to do it, like Ashley said, go all the way. And like I said, give our killers some motivation, build them up as something to fear, give them something to do. Let's have them looming, the POVs behind the bushes. We need those moments, okay? We need to know that you're being watched and somebody's coming after you. And it just was sad. It failed miserably in every single way possibly it could. Ashley.
Yeah, I don't remember none of them people. Don't ask me. About Molly Singer. Congratulations, Molly Singer. I really, oh gosh, it was such a bore and such a drag. And you're absolutely right. As far as the motivations, I was like, okay, here's what's going to happen. Her mom was in this thing. She had a rivalry with the other chick's mom. And, they go to it at the very end where the mom's like, oh, your dad was with me first. And I was like, well, okay, well, why couldn't we lead with that? Why couldn't we have a flashback moment and see them at their prom, or her, Mrs. Steal Your Man? You know what I mean? Give us something, honey. But this was so tired. Other than she just needs to win. You said, she needs to win. No one remembers second place or whatever kind of crap he said. It was just really dull. And I think what makes any compelling thriller is going to be the motivation of the killer. It's got to be succinct. It's got to be something, right? She stubbed your toe when you guys were in fifth grade and you got gangrene and had to get it amputated. And so from that moment on, you've hated her your whole life. And now everybody in the family can get it. Give me something, damn it. Give me something. And what's so crazy is that in the other three movies, we've gotten it. Like we understood, like, oh yeah, that's why they mad. That's why that spirit is trying to get y'all. And then they browned it all together. And the one thing that I really complimented the trilogy on was continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Saw in the first movie, it carried through. No character was wasted. They were going to come back and we were going to understand their purpose in the story. This, I could give a damn. Then you give us this best friend we know she's secretly in love with you and she's not understanding her sexuality. Well, who was that for? You didn't do anything with it. There were all the little guys there who kind of secretly had a crush, but he was with this chick who was trying to run his life. It didn't go anywhere. Everything just fell so flat for me. I hope this isn't horror. I mean, I hope this isn't it. It was just bad storytelling. Outside of horror, this was just bad. It was just a bad story.
I just said, this isn't the best you can do, is it? The continuity was definitely an issue. I was just trying to find a motivation, not just for anybody, but even just for Lori. I was like, okay, we want to be prom queen. Why? The plot of my the secret life of my gay best friend, I don't want to see that no more. I don't want to see that anymore. It just seems like so much with all these genres, especially horror. There's a need to insert. Okay, checkbox. We need a homosexual. We need gay here. Okay, well, let that not be their whole reason for existing, and let's not have it to be. I don't know. It just seems like they have to put some lesbians somewhere, and nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with that. I love that, but it feels inorganic if you're not giving this person a real purpose outside of I'm gay and I'm here. Let's do something else with that. Nikki?
I mean, we could stay here all day if we naming the stuff we don't like. So I guess I'll just stick to the highlights. Um, I will say one of the biggest things I didn't like was that damn narration. It's so dated. My name's Sally and this is my high school and that's Megan and she baby, why do we open a movie like that? Like that is so extremely dated. The second it opened with that, I said, "Oh hell no!" Like I just felt like I already knew where we were going. And then I feel like when you're talking about a slasher horror, there's two things that I feel like you really want in a slasher, and obviously it's kills, but I feel like you either get a cast of characters that you're endeared to, that you enjoy following, or you get a cast of characters where you're enjoying all the kill sequences. Like there's some type of highlight. There's typically a really great chase scene in a slasher. We didn't get any of that. Like we didn't get the typical bullet points for a slasher. And that damn killer, Jesus, that killer. I don't even need good killer motivations. You know, like Randy said in Scream, motive is incidental. We don't even need a motive. But to have this damn killer running around in this red latex condom, I could not take it. This had to be the worst. And I thought the worst killer like costume recently was that what was that teen slasher that Netflix did with the book club? People was getting killed off. I thought that was bad. This has to be literally top 5 worst killer costumes ever. And it was so easy to see who the killers was. I know it was the second it popped up, it was 2 killers. I said that's a girl parents. But the motive is also stupid because just because you kill off the candidates, y'all should have rigged the ballots. We still called the name. Even if y'all would have killed old girl, we called her name though. She won though. She dead, but we called her name. So the motivation don't even make no sense because baby, that ain't y'all ain't help y'all daughter win. And even I know this might be nitpicky, but it pissed me off so bad when she goes to try to get in the ambulance with her friend, and the guy said, "What is this, a taxi? Since when can you not have one person ride along with you in the damn ambulance?" That was so lame. As to get this whole setup with her at the end with that bullet. Now I get it. Oh my, I'm so sorry. That bitch ain't sorry. Like that was so obviously such a. And I was texting. I said, "Girl, I said it's a setup." Like you could like. Come on now, y'all. We could have did better. I would have rather she went with her friend and y'all popped up in a hospital to kill them last 2. Like do anything else besides that dumb way of getting her there. But I mean, basically everything Tyra and Ashley said. This was really. I wanted me a good chase scene. I wanted me a good Sarah Michelle Gellar over there with them tires going down that alleyway. Like
No. No, they put you in that little stock on a film set alley with nothing going on in it. I thought some tumbleweed was gonna roll by. That was all you was gonna get when she was running with that little best friend of hers who was used here to do what exactly? I was like, what is going on? Ugh. But yeah, that's that. Dominic said, we absolutely need homosexuals, but give them something to do. Don't make that, somebody's whole personality. And it was like she could have been, just gay, like all alone. I was like, is this supposed to be Janice from Mean Girls? What are we doing? Like, can we not have her do something? Why can't she just be gay and exist and not be secretly Duck from freaking Pretty in Pink? Like, I really want you. Like, what are we doing? Ew. And it wasn't even something like, I'm in love with you, right? It was just never mentioned. It's like, it's not my fault you're freaking in love with me or something. They wanted to be Mean Girls so bad. But yeah, I just really didn't care.
Never.
I like vomited a little bit in my mouth when she put that eyeliner on and came and I was like, oh God. It was so cringy. Like, I hated it. I hated that whack ass dance off where neither one of you hoes had the rhythm. Y'all couldn't catch the beat. I was so mad about that. I was mad at these generic ass prom dresses. I just hated it. Whose whack ass prom was this? I hated it so much. If I wanted to go to this prom, I would have went to my own damn school. It was just bad. The benefits of television, especially horror, when we get into proms, we get to be so extravagant and go overboard. We had the budget for them elaborate kills. We maybe should have put it elsewhere. We should have put it behind that killer. That looks so generic. I was like, what mask is this? Where'd you find that? And then we have this, it just seemed like little doted versions of a mask killer that we've seen previously. It made me think of the killer in Hunt when he reveals himself as I was like, it's just so bad. I've just seen movies do more that had a cheaper budget, but Lori did absolutely nothing for me. Her and the guy that she's doting over that secretly, like, those things matter. The way I would watch Carrie and feel sorry for Tommy every time. Like, Tommy ain't deserved it. Get him out of there, Carrie. Carrie White, get Tommy out of there off the floor with him golden curls. Tommy deserved better than that. Like, you have to care about these boyfriends or the coulda, shoulda, wouldas for when, so when these people die, you feel something. When she went off to have a little, more quiet space with this boy, and before they can even kiss, he's killed. The way I didn't give a, I just didn't care. I just didn't care. It was just all just bad. I was trying to find someone to hold on to, even if it's the bitchy villain. There was just no one here. Not even the adults. Nobody. Nikki?
You know what? I just thought of one good thing to say. I didn't think early. I got one good thing. One of my favorite 90s horror is a movie called The Haunting, where they go on this sleep experiment at this haunted house.
Mm-hmm.
And the lady that playing there is the little, she wasn't the principal, but she was like somebody acting like the
Yeah.
principal. Now she ain't do nothing in the movie, but
Uh-huh.
I was happy to see her face. So I got one good thing to say because it reminded me of that movie, The Haunting. But this girl, she's just the epitome of mediocre white. She ain't do nothing. She was literally, I would rather watch paint dry. Like, I'd rather go to Ashley house and watch her paint her walls. Like, that's how fun it was watching this girl. Like, she was giving absolutely nothing. There was no creativity put in this. You know how you can watch a movie and, like, The Haunting of Hill House, you can tell there was specificity, there was detail, there was attention to detail. Everything meant something. This is the stark opposite. There was no thought. Tyra said it best when she told me it's like a cash grab. Like, they literally put nothing into this. And this Lori girl, I would have preferred if this was one of those movies where everybody just dies. Like, one of those rare, the killer prevails and everybody dies type of movies. That would have been a good part. If I could have seen her die, she was actually not even likable. Just being so focused on, I just want to be prom queen and I just want to be queen. I don't even remember. I didn't even know her friend was gay. I must have missed that because I just kept hearing her voice squeaking like a little mouse the whole time. Bro, I want to be prom queen. I'm just like, you ain't got no bigger ambitions. Like, this what you focused on. I don't want to say it. I hated this girl. I couldn't stand this girl. She was so aggravating and has to be one of my top just unlikable final girls. I feel like it's a disrespect to even call her a final girl. I hate to even put her in that category.
Don't put it over there. We're gonna act like this never happened. We're gonna act like this never happened. Like, I really hated that moment when you had the auntie or whoever go in the room. I'm really sorry that you've been having to carry the weight for what happened to your parents. I'm sorry about that. It's like, yeah, that's all y'all get. Y'all ain't getting nothing else. Ashley, did you like Lori? Did you see when they had hit that Cabbage Patch because they couldn't catch the beat on the dance floor?
The one almost fell, and I said, "Is she high?" I was like, "Is this supposed? Did she get poisoned?" I was literally sitting there like, "Why is she doing all this?" It was like, "Oh, let me dance harder. Oh, you did it. Let me do this and twirl around in circles till I pass out." No, I couldn't. Like, oh, look at these dreadful fashions. Oh my gosh, not even the hair is 80s. There is nothing 80s about these looks for me. And again, I could have given some grace if they were eating down in the looks. And the eyeliner pissed me off as well because not the jaws dropped when she walked out. They noticed that little bootleg winged liner. Like, go to hell. Lori, no one cares. I could give a damn. I agree with Nikki. She wasn't likable. She wasn't memorable. Like, I barely know the lady's name at this point after watching her throughout a whole movie. And the real question is, how was she even one of the 4 nominees? And what kind of bootleg prom votes at the prom? The decision is made before. We know who prom queen is before. What are we doing here? I was so aggravated by this entire situation. Y'all just gonna change history just to make it happen at the prom, at prom night. No, girl, I don't give a damn, Lori. I hated this dress, Tyra. How hard was it to go into the archive to look at some 80s fashions for prom and say, let's do that? Not give her this dreadful white dress with a blue sash, not pink, not fuchsia, not magenta, not turquoise, not teal. Yeah, and even our
No, actually, it was when the girl got mad because all of a sudden her little ride or die had some compassion before she gave her that goddamn eyeliner, and via the chat tried to give her pink eye when she says, "Yeah, and take off my dress. Like, give me my dress." I'm like, y'all have on the exact fucking dress. Like,
it's dumb. Dumb as a box of rocks. And then, furthermore, on top of all of that, I just really feel like They didn't even try, y'all. They didn't even try, even with the bootleg line dance in their American flag swimsuits. What are we doing here? Did that eat? Did that eat down? Like, did y'all think y'all did something with it? Like y'all thought y'all ate? I hated it, Tyra. And no one cares if Lori died. I too, like Nikki, take them all out. Let's have a party. Take them out, and now let us party because this was dreadful to watch, and no one cared. Why would you be prom queen? Why would I be with Ty? Like, why would you
Hi.
have ever been prom queen? Looking how you looking. She looked dusty. She looked tired. Her hair was uneven, Tyra. I don't know how she made it up there. I don't
All
know.
over flat. What 80s was this? Everybody ish was just flat. Like it was like they wanted her to be Lainey Boggs in a blink of an eye, and we were just voting for her. I was like, this ain't Lainey. This ain't she's all that. We didn't build up to this. We just got to prom, and nobody liked her or cared to know her prior to us getting here. Like now we're voting for her because she could catch none of the damn beat. Get out of my face. And if I ever see somebody put on some power eyeliner and walk out, push that hoe down to the ground because don't do that. That eyeliner like upset my soul. It really did.
Not so slow.
And then I was like, oh my God, why? But back to some better prom affairs, okay? Because take me to prom. Take me there. Fulfill the fantasy. I got, even though it's tired, Renee Zellweger over there in that Texas Chainsaw Massacre that should not be named. They were going to prom. She was over there with Matthew McConaughey. They want to acknowledge that film to save their life. We were going to prom over there. We got the loved ones here. We got prom night. The other prom night that they watching the Discord child. I don't be over there. The best thing over there is Idris, and he ain't in there enough for me to watch it.
Mm.
We got Jennifer Zwali over here, the loved ones, Jamie Lee Curtis in prom night, and of course creepy Carrie up there in Carrie. Nikki, if you had to go to a prom, which one are you going to?
Look, first of all, the slander you just gave the Idris Elba prom night, I'd rather watch that than this Fifth Street prom night.
That's different. Hell yeah, that's totally different. I'm not putting it next to. I'm putting it next to Jamie's prom night. I'm just gonna go to the 80s every time.
But if I had to go to a prom, let me tell you, it's gonna be The Loved Ones. That's my movie. Now that's a dad. I love The Loved Ones and a little makeshift at home psychopath prom. I love that movie to pieces. Like that's the type of dad I want my child to have. Like I love that movie so much. I would definitely go with that prom. But as much slander as I give Jamie Lee's prom, I just couldn't stand Jamie back there in them 80s. I could not stand her on that train movie, none of them. But aesthetically, Jamie's prom, it was a hit. It was a hit.
Act like you don't know.
That's why I'm like, when the people who made this movie, y'all literally could have just copied previous 80s. Like, if I would have more respect if they did that. Like, if they at least tried, y'all could have just copied some previous. The blueprint is out there. Like, it's there for y'all to just copy. But I definitely feel like I love a bloody prom, though. I definitely love Carrie's prom. I love a murderous prom. That's why I'm like, I feel like it was nothing here, but we had the makings to have something. Just give us a nice, bloody, exciting kills, like slasher prom moment. Yeah. But if you're gonna take me to a prom, those would be my top ones.
Girl, the way I'm trying to go to, and it's sad, even down there with, babe, what is this down there? Jennifer's Body, like y'all were more 80s at y'all prom than they were, and it was a whole different decade. But I'm definitely trying to go to Carrie's prom. It's just something about the lighting. They're all gonna laugh at you. It's just shiny, sparkling, just disaster. I'm trying to go to Carrie's prom. I love the way it looks. I love the shock and awe when she's like, "Oh God!" It's just like blood. She's like, "Ah, this was my moment. You stole my moment." I love Carrie's prom. Just aesthetically, I really think it looks good. And when it's bad, it's really, really bad. Even though prom night from the 80s, it is just glamorous as hell. I love their prom. Ashley, have you seen any of these? And whose prom are you trying to go to?
These ain't none of the proms I'm going to. I'm going to Footloose prom. Sorry. That's
This ain't an option.
I don't know half these proms, Tyra. So I am
Oh,
going.
I know you've seen Carrie.
I have seen Carrie, and I'm still choosing Footloose's prom. Here's why: because it could have been a horror movie. Let's be serious, because Footloose was about was about censorship. It was about banning. It was about the people couldn't dance, Tyra. And the way they broke it down at that prom, the way they was dressed, the way there was glitter, the way that was a quintessential 80s prom. I'm going over there with 6 degrees of separation, Kevin Bacon. I'm going to Footloose's prom. But if I have to choose one from over here, because you're going to make me, probably Carrie, because that's the one. But I think the bottom right is Jennifer's Body, if I'm correct. And the looks were looking over there. The looks were looking, but for the dance of it all, and
How
80s,
you just
quintessential
don't
80s.
decide? Everybody cut, everybody cut. You can't just be going to the Footloose prom with Kevin Bacon. He was not an option.
This is why I always say that Ashley could never be a horror girl, because we talk about the horror prom and she want a Footloose.
It was scary to me.
Over there
This
dancing
was
for
the crazy
Jesus.
preacher was after people died on the railroad tracks. Their ghosts were probably haunting the town.
You can't add stuff to that. That's not what's happening. Jesus.
Just saying.
But
Ashley, you need to be a writer, because the way you add all kind of stuff to movies that don't even be there.
to make the movie she wants to see. So that was never happening, Ashley. But a bully, but not so mean girls. Now, go over there and talk to Regina George and them to get your mean girl etiquette on. There is always typically a hot and cold, a nice, nasty situation. She was just nasty. What we don't do is turn on our own squad, especially so easily at the goddamn prom. I really did not like our mean girl here. We really need to believe it. I love a good, I don't care. I'm Stephen King me. I love a good insufferable bully. But it needs to be good. It needs to have levity and some in between. It was just nothing. I either want you to go hard as hell, because you couldn't tell me the bullies over there in the It universe, especially OG It. Oh, those are mass murderers. Stand by Me. Y'all committing crimes. Yeah, y'all caught a couple of bodies. They're buried in the backyards, and y'all family's just not saying nothing. That's why all the parents in Derry are quiet as hell, because it's not just It the Clown. Y'all back here killing people as a little motorcycle gang. I love that. You got to go hard or go in between. Her situation where they really wanted to have a Mean Girls moment, it had to be, nice, nasty. Make the girls, all the girls want to be you, all the boys want to F you. I have a reason to, because I'm really, a sick, twisted individual, but forward facing, I'm the nicest. That is the ugliest fucking skirt I've ever seen. Like, you have to sell it. She was not selling it. It was just all the whole time. But you expect me to think like, oh, there will be a moment where she has her best interest and feels sorry enough for her to go home and get in the ambulance with her to make sure she's okay. No, it never gave that. That little tired ass American flag moment on stage. Don't ever do that shit again.
It's awful.
Don't ever do that again. Don't ever do that again. And the way that they were in shock and all, like, oh my God, they are, give us nothing. It was giving nothing. She's just standing there in the back looking stupid with that whack ass dress on. I just hated it. I hated her flat dress. Everything was flat. The chest was flat. The dresses were flat. The hair was flat. Everything was flat. Them lips was flat. I just hated it. Just do something. I just hate, like, I just hated all of it. I hated it all.
Tyler said, I hate your gums because they black.
I did. I hated it. Like, it just wasn't giving me anything. I'm like, you gonna take us to the 80s for this? We could have did this. This could have been just your typical prom queen situation, and we could have stayed in the current decade. Nikki,
I'm crying. I can't talk. That was my favorite rant of the night. That literally remind me of, I hate the black keys on the piano. She said, baby, lips was flat.
it was just flatness.
Was I the only person back in the day who used to watch the famous Jack Jackson? And remember, if you didn't watch it, it was like this little teen. Shout out to Lee Thompson Young. He used to fight crime and stuff. Remember, he had a nemesis on there, like Mr. Rat, I think it was. That's what this bully was. This was the most generic YA mediocre. I thought Scooby-Doo in the game was gonna pop out to pull the mask back. Like, it was so childish. Like, and I hate a bully trope. I can't stand a bully trope because it's just so overdone. But this was the most fake ass punk bully I've ever. Like, she was lame. Like, there was nothing there. I've never seen Mean Girls, but this had to be just the worst display of Mean Girls I've ever seen. Like, it just, nothing was giving. It just wasn't happening. And she deserved to be bullied really for that dance off. There has only been 2 times in my entire life where I caught secondhand embarrassment from a movie. One was on Soul Food when Makai Pfeiffer talking about step on the crack and break your mama back at that little table. The way I caught secondhand embarrassment and this dance off, I literally caught such secondhand. I have never felt like that. I thought this was happening to me. Like it was so that dance off was embarrassing. I mean, that was embarrassing. The way you cannot pay what's baby from Friends to ever mention she was in Leprechaun. These actors need to hide this movie. Never bring it up. The way we can't find that movie when Leon was hunching that ghost, they need to do that to this movie. Just hide it, bury it deep, bury it somewhere with all the state and government secrets. That dance off was criminal. It was criminal. It was an atrocity to mankind.
It's out to the world forever. My issue with that dance off was like she wasn't doing anything that was so incredible that you couldn't match it, but it was just like, oh, you just don't have rhythm, white girl. All right, anybody can beat that. It was just bad. This is the saddest prom I've ever seen.
And she looked so proud at the dance. Like she looked proud.
Like, take that, top that.
I'd rather watch B2K in that little dance off movie they did. Like I don't know what
we was cooking. Jay Boo was gonna cook in them gray sweatpants. Okay, Ashley, how did you feel about the bully?
Yeah, I feel like villainy is a lost art these days. I don't know what happened. Like we grew up with some of the best bullies in movies or portrayal of real bullies, right? And again, Regina George would never. Y'all see the mug. Stop trying to make fetch happen. All right. Here's the thing, it's not hard to do. It's not hard to do, but I think we would have needed a different casting for this bully or a different look. She didn't give to me. She didn't give big fine. She didn't give talented. She didn't give exceptional. She didn't give popular. She gave none of the things that makes the quintessential bully work, right? You got to be fine. You got to be a bad girl. You got to have money, super money, right? You have to have all of these things that's going to make the power structure work, right? Because you have minions, you have people under your control. And I think even if they could have played into that in the friend group, everyone bowing down to her, everyone doing that, but they didn't. I mean, all of the notes that could have been so easy to capture were just lost. Like there was nothing. She looked humdrum just like our protagonist did. Basic Betty. It didn't give. I want to see glitter. I want to see a tiara because she knows she's that girl. I want to see gold and pinks and all kinds of things. And I just didn't get any of it. And even when she delivers her little petty lines, she didn't speak with any authority or like she was that girl. Like I struggled with this because what are we doing? It's not hard to create a bully. It's not. And I hate that y'all trying to bite off Mean Girls, one of the best movies of our time. Because what they did right was showed you high school and what the hierarchy is and what that looked like. And I don't think it's hard to reproduce. I just think this was a complete miss from casting to her portrayal to the looks to everything. This a bully she was not. Girl, she looked just like the other girl. There was
She did. At first they was both flat. Everybody was just flat. You know, we watch when we watch what do we watch with Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn? I can't.
Death Becomes Her?
Death Becomes Her. And she's yelling at Bruce. She's like, flaccid. Everything was flaccid here. It was flaccid. Tongue wag, because it was all flaccid. Flat and flaccid. Thank you so much, Miss Lisa. Whoever green lights projects, they need new blood. They intentionally was not trying to entertain us with this slasher. Miss Lisa said, y'all did this on purpose.
We did.
Y'all did this on purpose.
What? That bully, the main bully girl, was also so generic, like Ashley said. It just reminded me. Remember the couple that go and they get killed because they finna do it in the basement? I thought that was the main bully girl. Because I said, why would y'all kill her off camera when she been the main antagonist? I literally thought that was her. Like, they all really bled together. She did not stand out as, like, Queen Bee.
It took me, I don't know how many moments. I was like, why are they wearing the same color? I was like, oh, her and her friend. She said, take my dress off. I was like, oh, it's a dark purple. It's not the same.
Oh, they both wearing in a blue dress?
No, it was a purple. Mm-hmm.
Child, I thought they was in the same. When she was talking about it's a cheap dress, I'm like, girl, you wearing the
Same
same dress.
It was all cheap. It was all cheap. And Nikki, I think you would really like Mean Girls. You should check it
You
out.
would.
It's
It's actually funny.
it is. Not that there were, anything to write home about. But Ashley, did you have a favorite kill?
It wasn't a kill. It wasn't a kill that I thought was funny, but when El Boy chops the teacher's arm off and the teacher's still laying there, like, oh, he's alive. And he starts talking, laying down with his one arm off. Like, I thought that was hilarious. As far as the kills, none of them really moved me. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even jump scare. And you know how I do. I just kills. Maybe oh boy who got it before he even got a kiss. And isn't that wrong? Isn't the rule in horror movies you have to have sex? You can't be a virgin and get killed, like the virgins always live. I didn't understand that, but him getting it to the head, that was fine.
Nikki, favorite kill?
Well, that punch bowl, that wasn't even a kill. That was that girl prank.
Mhm.
And I think that was a lot better than the kills. Her little chopping her arm off in class, I enjoyed that better. Like, I honestly can barely remember the kills. I think old girl electrocutes herself, which I thought that was just the dumbest moment. Like, girl, what are you doing? The girl at the beginning, I don't know how you don't hear that man in them heavy ass boots stomping up behind you, and you looking every which way but Sunday. I don't know what was going on with these kills. Like, oh god, it's really, and that's really for me. Whenever I'm watching horror, at least give me some good kills. Where I'm like, oh, okay, good. Like, oh, this is some gore. This is something nasty. This is something cool. I don't think I really can't remember how these people died. Like, I really just can't even remember. And I just watched this movie an hour before we went live. Lord, I really can't remember no kills. But I know, you know what? I will say, okay, I got something good to say. When they announced the prom queen and the killer walks in there and he chopping people up and the crowd just standing there still, just don't even know what's happening behind them. I thought we was actually finna cook. I thought he was just finna start slaughtering the whole prom, and I wish he would have did that. But I guess if I want to say something nice, even though I did kind of just not say something nice, I like that. I like that we walked up on them in the crowd and was just chopping people up. I got that. That's what I got.
It was trash. I will say, just because it was relentless. Once we chopped little baby here in the face, chopped off his hands, and he's like, "Open the door." I was like, boy. And then he smashes his whole face into the glass. That electricity situation. I was like, what are we doing? I don't know. A lot of people said that this reminded them of Scream Queens. I've never seen Scream Queens, so I wouldn't know. But I heard it was that. So anybody who's seen Scream Queens in the chat, I think that's a Ryan Murphy situation also. Let us know how it was and if this is over there, because I never need to watch Scream Queens if this is what it's given.
And how did that girl get electrocuted? Was them just exposed wires? That didn't make no sense.
They were just exposed, and it was just kind of bouncing off of her neck.
Because I was like, girl, why did you grab? Like, if I back up, why did she grab? But I don't. That kill made no sense to me.
I don't know. They were trying. It's just it wasn't a lot of built up. Even the reveal, like, oh, it's two killers. Like, yeah, tell me something I don't know. Now. We had some not so red herrings here because they did, which I guess is why they were trying to feed more into the I am gay, I am your best friend, I am secretly, it's not my fault you're like in love with me or something. Oh no, you didn't. They were trying to give that, so maybe it could be the best friend. I was like, but yeah, you can't give me a 6'5" killer and try to tell me that it could be this bestie. Now, as Nikki was saying, Lily Taylor was here. Baby, Lily be in them horror streets, as you can see below. That's all Lily down there. This is your killer. This is your crazy. This is your person. Why didn't we utilize her? Why didn't we utilize her? I was looking and I was like, because I didn't register it at first, but I was like, ooh, it's the mom from The Conjuring. And I was like, ooh, is that? She was also in The Hunting. You know what? She really in that addiction situation with Christopher Walken that don't get talked about enough. That's that OG vampire movie that need to get some light on it. I was like, and then I was like, well, let me go see. I was like, oh, she was also in Leatherface. And then, a couple of like anybody who's really deep off into that horror alumni streets and it's been a bulk of their career along with, indie things. Maybe utilize that lady. If she could have been a killer, like utilize her. And a lot of the times when we do go the adult right, it is a a lot of the times teacher, administration, principal, something vendetta. Because yeah, y'all never noticed me when we were in school, head ass. We could have went there. I really felt like it was a missed opportunity. I was like, she's just back there doing nothing. Do y'all see this? Why is she back there doing nothing? Do y'all not know who y'all have? Don't do that. But Ashley, did you feel the red herring coming off of these two?
Girl, please. I know this lady from Mystic Pizza and Say Anything. I know this lady from the 80s. You know, I ain't seen none of these horror movies, but I did. I was like, okay, she's like the pious, church mom who, oh, that's inappropriate. You shouldn't be doing that. She's gonna have a problem with prom. We could have cooked a little bit over there. I think there's always a zealot in the bunch who doesn't like what things going on. Her son looked a bit closeted himself, and I was like, okay, we could be going somewhere. I knew very quickly that wasn't it. I knew it was that heifer's mama in some combination of other person with her. So yeah, I knew we wasn't going over there, but it could have been dope. That actually would have made for more interesting storytelling, I feel like. As far as the best friend, yeah, I'll do anything for this person that I love. But again, she had no autonomy. She really had no purpose outside of just being the support for this friend and stepping in at the end to try to, save her. Which again was another missed opportunities. But yeah, definitely not so red because it was so predictable. We all knew where this was going, and I think that's sad because it didn't have to be that way.
Child, she had that little ribbon test. She's like, I'm Ducky from I'm Ducky. Don't you see? I'm giving you the 80s. Girl, you not. You just as flat as she is standing next to you. Nikki, red herrings?
Tara, I think you're giving these people way too much credit. Calling these two
Hey,
characters
this is
red
what they were
herrings.
trying to do. I didn't say they succeeded.
I will say I hate how underutilized my girl is. I wish they would have done this is another terrible movie, but Five Nights at Freddy's, when you saw Matthew Lillard giving the guy the job, you knew they was not gonna have Matthew Lillard in there just to do that, have that small role. Having him as the killer, that makes sense. When you have people like a Matthew Lillard or her or like a Cal Gallner, there are certain people that if you're in horror, you know these faces, like you know these people. So I wish they would have utilized her, but these was the most fake ass red herrings in the history of red herrings. Like I said, when did we know baby was gay? I must have missed that. She was just a little sidekick. I definitely didn't see her doing just about anything at all. But I will say I wish we used Lady from The Haunting and Conjuring, and because and it's a lot other horror that she's done. Like she has done so much horror. I hate that she was in here doing nothing, but you know what? Everybody was in this movie doing a bunch of nothing, so it wasn't just her.
Okay. Well, I put these down here also, guys, as suggestions of better films that you could be watching instead of this one. So if you want to check out something, especially Addiction, I don't think that has gotten enough viewing. Go check it out, please, because I just wanted to acknowledge that they were trying to subvert and go, hey, this could be the killer. Like, it's not. We know damn well it ain't. Because these
When
are
did
the
that
killers.
girl say she was gay? Because that's killing me. I did not know she was gay.
I thought it was known. I thought it was known.
Yeah, I thought it was like, I don't know if she verbally said like I'm gay. I think it was something that was just implied with her character.
Oh,
But
okay. I didn't get the implication.
no, it didn't especially set in the 80s where, it's very, she said I'm just one of the guys. This was just all a deep underwhelming sigh. When they got him in there, when we thought he was going to be murder on the dance floor, but we ripped his mask off, and the wife came, she's like, "Oh my god, why?" It's like because you would have wanted it. I was like, what? What? It was just bad. It was bad. I hate a good, like, that just seems like the go-to now, especially after Scream. There's not one killer, there's two of us. Like, who could it be? Like, stop doing that. Stop doing that. I just didn't like it. I didn't like any of the armor they were giving Lori either. Like, really have her like in the trenches, fighting girl, fighting for her life. It was just very easy for Lori. I just didn't believe any of it. It didn't add to the kills because like Nikki said, we had this latex condom on, this coat, and this mysterious mask. I was like, what is this? It just was awful. the we knew that these were probably the killers, but their motivation was lost upon me because nothing that you've stated or that happened in Lori's past really catered to this, and why y'all would push y'all daughter, while y'all would indoctrinate her to even be displaying any of the behavior to get y'all here. It just wasn't believable. And I was like, did y'all try? But mind you, anybody who had anything to do with those other Fear Street films, they are nowhere present on this one. Ashley?
This goes back into motivation. It goes back into, I don't know. American Pie can go to hell. I see him over there on Sweet Magnolias, and he's terrible over there as well. He's not great, y'all. He has not evolved as an actor since American Pie, and I just, it didn't move me. Again, I want somebody who's inherently evil and has this motivation. He gave weak incel to me, who was married to this lady who was running them by the balls. I knew he wasn't the mastermind. He wasn't smart enough. Like, when you see a killer, you want them to be smart. You want there to be something that drives them inherently, and it just didn't get that. And to James Schaefer, yeah, if they had to give that in a post-credit scene, half of us don't even watch a post-credit scene. I saw the symbol, and I was like, well, if they wanted us to introduce to the lore, they should have done it during the movie, not in a post-credit. But
I want the blood, heard that symbol in the blood.
They said that's the good family, the sheriff's family. And
oh, please go to hell.
But yeah, it was underwhelming. If they could have done that, like incorporated the lore somewhere in the movie, that could have made a difference potentially. But yeah, I was underwhelmed as well. Deep Negro sigh.
Deep Negro sigh.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Dane, for the $2, who said Tara/Ashley. Who's this new chick on the panel? This new chick is Nikki. You know Nikki? Yeah, just brand spanking new. Thank you so much, Dane, for the super chat. We appreciate you. New chick Nikki, give the killer something. Did you, for any moment, at any point in time, think that it was anybody else but these two?
No, we knew it was them from the get-go. And you know what was funny? When baby is about to get killed, she first get attacked because the girl throw all the drink on her, which I don't know how no teacher saw that, but whatever. And the killer go to get her, and she run, and another one pops up. The movie thought they cooked, like they thought they did they big one with that one. You can tell, like they was like, oh, this it, this gonna get them going. Oh yeah, how was it? This was terrible. You remember how everybody was upset after Scream 6 with those killer reveals? This is neck and neck. I would love to see those three killers and these three killers face off, because they gotta be the most mediocre killers here. And what kind of killer can't beat the teenage girl? Like, it ain't like the whole crowd went after him. You really got taken. And the way he was, ow, 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 with his eye, I was like, baby, come on now. Back up, okay? This was really, really bad. But also, you say the dad ain't got no sense. None of them got no sense, because, baby, how was y'all gonna get away with this? When Lori fake ass Stroll came to y'all house and y'all just murked her, what was y'all gonna tell the cops? Like, I just don't understand. Your daughter still ain't win, even though you killed everybody. Once Lori fake Stroll came to the house and you murdered her, what were you going to tell the police? Everybody was stupid.
I mean, maybe that's where the lore comes in, because if they're the goods and they're a part of that lineage, we don't got to explain nothing, because we just get away with everything.
And does this mask tie into the previous movie? Because I was like, what's with the
No,
mask?
none of this has anything. That's why I don't want you to take this for face value and just decide, you know what, F them other 3 movies. I don't want to check them out. The writers, directors, lineage. I even thought, like, when they were going, well, Lori, your mom, and this and that, and this death that happened, like, can it be someone that we've met previously? Like, are we going to get like a moment? It was just nothing. It was just not. This has no connection whatsoever, other than that damn symbol that was on the floor. It was nothing.
That mask is a choice. Because I showed, I was like, well, this must got something to do with the other movies, because what is with this mask?
No. And like Ashley said, we have all those killers there. This definitely we have an endless well to dig from. Mm-hmm. But we get into the laughable final act. When she went home with her, I just didn't understand why she would go home with her. I was like, oh, this is where we're gonna end off with you, going home, and the mom was the best thing there in the scene. I like a good, unhinged mother. Like, give me my Carrie. Like, sell it to me. Y'all should have been letting her be crazy and plotting and talking to her daughter. Like, even if we knew it was already her, she could have been, we need this. Do it for me. Like, we needed that. Like, rev it up. Do the goddamn most. Like, but this just was like her sleeping here at the house and all of this. I damn near thought, gay best friend was gonna have to come on across the street and save her. I was like, oh Lord, hasn't she been through enough? You ain't gonna give her none. Like, can we not? But she didn't. She held her own and got stabbed in the back and did the lightest Powerpuff ass fall on the stairs I've ever seen. I was like, girl, get your ass up. That made me mad. Her trying to be a big bad in these scenes, the stabbing, the knocking out. I'm a Lori. I was like, girl, would y'all stop doing that in these movies and shows? Anything that start with a name and ends with your last name and there's a king in the middle, it's trash. It's cheesy. Not in a good way. Stop saying that. But I thought this was dumb. This was really, really dumb. It was just dumb. I just hated it. The best thing that happened is that we got that kill of her flying, through the banister and landing enough to puncture a good bloody situation. And her, of course, hitting the lady in the head. That was funny. But it was just stupid the way that we even got her there. There was no reason at this point to believe that her arch nemesis bully was any more welcoming than before than to have her at the house. Because I feel sorry for her. Because, girl, not your daddy trying to kill people. Y'all could never be connected. Ashley, how we get to the house?
Dumb and delayed. This chick, I mean, we don't really know, right, how she's been treated in school by this girl because they didn't go there. But I mean, if it's what we think, right, she's been bullied or she has been treated poorly by this lady after all this, it makes no sense for her to go back here other than that's where the people who wrote this dribble decided that that's where they needed to be for this final act. It was very dumb. Her walking on, let me do it, mom. And then this slow walk. Like, what was the slow walk about? Girl, if you get some intention behind it, if this is what we're going to do. And then it was like even Lori's delayed response at the cabinet. Girl, what are you waiting until she gets right here? Like, it was so dumb. It was so on the nose. It was so predictable. I said, as slow as she walking, ain't no way she gonna kill Lori. Like, what are we doing here? And then the mom, oh, I'm angry. And she even paused after she threw her off the steps. So you waiting for Big Mama to come get you. It was a mess. It was a mess. Now, somebody in the comments just said we should have seen written on the mirror a message from Sarah Fear. Please stop. You trying to make it something it absolutely was not. If they wanted to incorporate the lore, I wouldn't have to read bloody messages on walls or windows or mirrors to understand it. Like, stop doing that. Like, y'all swear it's something serious and it's not. It's trash. Like, can we talk about it? Who get in these comment sections and get in the chat and want to argue about trash. It makes no sense, baby. You're not gonna make it deep. You're not gonna make it special. You're not gonna make it a work of art. It's never gonna happen. It was garbage. Stop doing that. So, you look crazy as hell. You look crazy doing that. Stop.
Y'all making her mad. Stop it. God. Oh my goodness. Like, I ain't looked at that. Whatever was on if they wanted it to be for how important Sarah Fear is to just every single film's arc, if they wanted us to know, they would have showed us. We wouldn't have to be looking and playing peekaboo with it. Just like
Am I frozen or is Tyra frozen?
Tyra's frozen for a second. She'll refresh and come back. But what did you think
Man,
of the
let me
final
tell you,
act?
the leader of the Sweet Peas said fetch is never gonna happen. The fetch is never, y'all, fetch is never gonna happen. Oh my God. I love your rant today and Tyra's rant.
Sorry.
Fetch is never gonna happen.
So what did you think of the final act? Did you already respond to this until Tyra comes back, Nikki?
No. Lord Jesus, oh God, and I love a good third act. The third act for a horror is what you wait for. Typically, you'll get either a really great opening act, but you know you're gonna get, well, if it's a cold open, but you know it's that third act showdown that you can't wait for. And that's also what was bad with the writing and the characters. We weren't even hyped for this showdown. Typically, you're hyped for that final showdown for the final girl and the villain to go head to head. Ain't nobody give a good goddamn. And then, like I said earlier, the way we even got her to the house was contrived with not letting her ride with her friend in the ambulance. Baby, so you know all the criminal minds and the SVU and the FBI and the movies I've seen, they always let one person ride in the damn ambulance. I ain't never heard of you can't ride in the ambulance before in my life. That was such a contrived way to get her home. Then to have the whole, first of all, at the end, after the prom, why was she even standing there when the cops was talking to baby and her mama? Why was she lingering, just standing? This girl don't like you. She hates you to the point that she throws your parents' death in your face as a way of bullying you. Not your clothes, not your parents' murder. I thought this was just so ridiculous as a way to get her home and then to go to sleep. First of all, I'm sorry, but if your daddy a killer, I'm gonna think everybody a killer. I'm gonna say all y'all suspects in my eyes. But Ashley touched on the thing that really irked me the most. It was the slow motion, time stopping moments. Baby, why is me and the killer watching her daughter fall and just staring? I'm not finna stand next to the killer as we watch her child die. Now she finna be even more turned up because you did. Oh my God. And then when we ran in that damn closet, my God, when the mama comes home, ticking, tacking on the stairs with the knife. First of all, do y'all not understand surprise? Like, element of some, you could have easily gotten there and killed that girl. She was asleep. She was asleep. I don't know why she made all that noise coming up them stairs, but I guess that was the filmmaker's way of adding some dramatization, giving it a little pizzazz. But baby, when we ran to that closet, I wanted to smack Lori Fake Stroll in her face because does this lady not know this closet is in her house? How are you in someone else's house and you decide to hide in the closet? Does she not know this mystery closet is here? How are we safe in someone else's house in their closet? It was so stupid. And then when you trying to tell the girl to be quiet because y'all hiding, ain't nothing ticking in your little brain that something isn't right here. Oh my God. And then I guess that was supposed to be a twist, a reveal that the daughter was in on it, but we knew this. I couldn't. And I will say, like Tyra said, the actress playing the mom, she did try to give like unhinged, and I can appreciate that. But this was low level. This was low level stuff. And Lori as the final girl, typically that final girl I was finna say stroke, and we ain't stroke nothing in this movie. That final girl, like just archetype, typically they gotta suffer. They go through something, they fight, they claw, that girl ain't do nothing. She did a fake ass Van Damme kick. I don't even know how she mustered that up. She literally didn't do it. How was she able to reach into a hole? She had to open the cabinet, reach her hand in the cabinet, grab a trophy, swing her arm back, hit the mom. How she was able to do all that before the mama could get anything up? This was so fraudulent and so contrived, and this was the weakest, most mediocre, flatline final showdown, final girl. Again, it feels blasphemy to call this girl a final girl. It was awful. This was bad. And I saw another mediocre movie the other day, Until Dawn, but that had redeemable qualities. I could say some good stuff about that movie. This was nothing. This was nothing land. It was bad. It was really bad. This had to be the worst third act I've seen in a long time.
Ciao. Well, my signal's being weird, y'all, or something's being restream. I don't know. But as far as Fear Street is concerned, Ashley, do we need any more Fear Street?
So here's the thing. I if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. There are a plethora of opportunities within the franchise to do something special. I feel like, because like I said, they did such a great job of introducing all of these characters in the trilogy. But he has other concepts as well for the teens. Now, R.L. Stein is over there with the Goosebumps. Tyra got mad at me because I said I liked the Disney reboot of Goosebumps season 1. I thought it was cooking. It was horror to me. So I know that it's capable, and I know that the people who did the trilogy are capable. I think this is just one bad apple. I wouldn't say stop Fear Street, because I think there's a space for it if they can do it right. I just think this was a poor execution of something that could have been. I think it could have been good, Nikki. I don't know. Would you be down to see any other Fear Street if there were other people behind it, or is it's an absolute no for you? Because he's got a lot of books out there.
And you know what? I was gonna say chop it off at the legs, but I don't know, because I haven't seen the previous 3. I don't know if we had the same team, if it was the same writer directors for the previous one. Don't ever give these people no more money. I don't know if these were the same people. Don't give them a dime. I don't know how we couldn't green light Lovecraft Country season 2, but we can green light all this. This is I don't know. Personally, just stop it
You
here.
want a
Because
Lovecraft Country season 2?
I'm speaking at the time when we wanted it, but they couldn't green light that, but we green lighting stuff like this. And you know what? Matter of fact, something more recent. We don't this ain't horror, but we cancel Found, but we green lighting stuff like this. If y'all bring baby back with her locks, finding the missing people, but we can green light this. I don't want no more Fear Street. This was my first, and I actually didn't like the Fear Street books when I was growing up. This was my first little foray into Fear Street, and I'm off this street. I'm going back to Elm Street. I'm going back to any street but Fear Street. I can't do it. This left a real bad taste in my mouth. Like, this had to be one of the hardest movies, and I feel like this has been a real bad year for horror. I mean, it's been bad. This had to be the worst thing I done sat through. I couldn't. I wouldn't have finished it if I wasn't gonna be on this panel. Like, I wanted to tap out. This was bad. This was really bad. I don't want them on Fifth Street. They can leave alone. They can go away. They can go to hell.
Well, I appreciate you for finishing it.
Are
Thank
we gonna
you,
give the
Nikki.
people
I
some good
appreciate it.
slashes?
I mean, hey, there are some good slashers, but unfortunately, a lot of those slashers do not involve teenagers. I would love some more Fear Street. I think her name was, hopefully it wasn't Lori. Was that her name? Something with an L. Leah, Lori, whoever was in charge of these Fear Street films, girl, come back. Come back. You're very, very needed. And from what I could see, it's like 20 books or so in the Fear Street series. So it's a lot of material. So I don't think stop here. This was a fluke. We can't win them all. I just think that there needs to be consistency, and maybe clearly Fear Street. They had the budget was budgeting over there. Maybe there were different circumstances, and we are a few years removed from this. But the closer we can get back to these Fear Streets, the better. Because don't give it a bad name. I think that it was a nice installment, especially into the teenage field of slashers, and I don't want to ruin that. Don't ruin this for me, okay? We actually had something.
Yeah, it was a
But
different
yeah,
set.
y'all,
You're
that
right,
was Fear
Tara.
Street. I don't.
It was a completely different set of people. Lee Janiak did the first 3. Somebody named Matt Palmer and Donald McLeary did this foolishness.
Now, why they didn't put it back in Lee's
That was
hands?
awesome.
We need Lito.
Who knows? Who knows? It was great. I don't know. It was so much depth there. This felt very empty, and we don't need that. But y'all, that's Fear Street. I have no plans to watch that movie ever again. I have no desire to. Nikki, do you want to tell the folks what you have maybe going on over there and where they can run you some funds?
Well, first of all, if you want to see some good teen slashers, if you want to wash this taste out of your mouth, go to The Prowler, go to Scream, go to Intruder. When they was locked in that damn grocery store, go to Hatchet, go to Freaky.
Not Intruder.
I take that over this mess. The Hills Have Eyes, Texas Chainsaw, You're Next. That was, I think that was, that's kind of teen. She was in college. Baby was in college. Anything but this.
Old ass
But
family. There ain't no teenagers in sight.
she a college. Why she in look, whatever. The point is, well, I have been spending my time working on my first film. So not a lot of content coming, but I am going to see new Mission Impossible tomorrow, and I will be doing a video on that. And I might see Final Destination. I don't know because Mission Impossible is real long. They're like 3-hour movie. I don't know if I'm gonna be at the theater that long, but I might see Final Destination. But besides that, I'm just working on my film. Did I say my film? My film. So that's really what my mind is on right now.
Yes.
But catch me when I'm over here with the ladies or when I just upload something. Make sure your notification is on and you'll know when I, put something up. And thank you for having me, Tyra. I appreciate you making me suffer through this movie.
You're welcome. I was about to say I'll wait till I watch the film first and then I'll ask you to be a part of it. Oh, now it wants to not minimize. You know what? It's being weird. How long is it going to take me to let you get off this screen now? I pressed this ages ago. Jesus. Ashley, anything you want to say to the folks before we get out of here?
Yes, y'all. We have a ton of stuff coming this week. Plan on double days in terms of lives next week. I just finished Sirens today at the behest of Tyra. Y'all, I enjoyed it. There's stuff to talk about over there. I'm very surprised, but Julianne Moore never disappoints me, so I shouldn't have been too surprised. Just finished Pee-wee as himself, that documentary. I think it's discussion worthy. Also watched Anatomy of a Romance Scam. So some docs on the docket, a series we'll be talking about, and The Last of Us, the finale. If you want to get probably a very good read in, if you want to hear a rant, I say be there Monday night or be square. And then Tuesdays are for The Wire. We will be wrapping up season 4 and potentially starting on season 5. So join us. Make sure you're subscribed to everyone on the panel. You have that notification bell hit. Join the collective Discord, honey. Join a membership. There's so much to do over here. Just be a part of the community,
It's a lot. Because the way a time was had watching Love After Lockup in the chat and just chatting with each other. If that man don't remove those pimples from underneath his tongue, we have an issue. We have an issue there. But thank you guys so much. I can't see the comments, so if anybody sent a super chat, thank you. I can't see. Everything's just loading. I don't know. But thank you guys so much for supporting us and anybody who took their precious time to watch this film. You were doing the Lord's work. Bless your heart. It is Saturday. And of course, you know that we have our members only Saturday watch alongs. It is my turn and I pick the Matrix. If you want to be there to join us and watch, be sure to become a member of the Sweet Peas or become a member of the Struggle. We would love to have you. I'm going to click it and try to take y'all out of here with this, and we'll see y'all later. Oh my God. It's not good. Are we in the stream?
It's playing.
Because it's not like it's really not playing. Well, we just gonna look at each other and keep live in. Is it? It's nothing on my end.
It's playing.
Yeah, it's good to know. It's nothing on my end. No.